There's an argument that I've never really understood, and this is for my African people living here in the US. This argument is people don't want to buy houses here because it's like, oh, I don't want to buy a house in the US, it's expensive. I'd rather first build a mansion in Africa, okay? And then just rent here, an apartment here. And then after I'm done working, I'll just go back home to my mansion, which it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And the reason why it doesn't make any sense, because number one, I am very sure my mortgage every month is way less than most of your apartment rents that you pay every month. See, the argument that is posed by for not buying a house and actually renting is, number one, you pay less rents than your mortgage, which then you can take the difference and invest the difference. If you're a guru and you're getting a really high, rate of return, that makes sense. If, okay, instead of paying 2,500 mortgage, I pay rent 2,000, I take that 500 and I invest it in a very high, high interest, or with an investment that has a very high good rate of return. That makes sense. If you're a guru, if you're paying less rent than your mortgages. But first of all, let's debunk that first point of why you want to have an apartment. A lot of people, you pay way more apartment rents than some of us who own houses pay. So how does that even make any sense? But also the idea of once you pay your rent, you will never see it again. It's gone. Actually, what you're doing is you're paying someone else's mortgage. You're paying someone else's investment. That's what's happening. And me, this thing I have never understood. And then all these people who are talking like this are people who initially come to, okay, I'm going to come work 5 years in the US and then I'm going to go retire back home in Africa. And then 5 years turns to 20 years, you're still here. You guys, you've reached retirement age. So when are you going to enjoy this? When are you going to enjoy this bungalow in Africa? When the only time you go to this bungalow is about maybe, like 3 to 4 weeks, maybe a year, if you're fortunate enough to go home every year. And not many people are able to even afford to do that, because trips to Africa, they cost a lot. And so it's maybe every 2 years, you're getting to use that house for like a month. And then you're coming back here. Me, I have never understood. Like, the points and the advantages of owning a house in the US outweigh the advantages of owning an apartment. Because people say, okay, you have to take care of your lawn and, all these repairs and so many other things. It's called responsibility. It's being responsible. Something is broken, you fix it. If you're not a handy person, you hire somebody, they will do it for you. They'll do it for you. And the thing is, see, like, the good thing too is part of the money is, paying the interest, right? And then part of the money is going towards my equity. So I'm getting equity in this house that I can be able to, if I want to buy a second home, I can just go borrow on my equity. Go borrow on my go do that home equity loan. Buy something, invest something. Take out that money, maybe invest it in a better rate. So I can actually even do that. I can invest my own money while still I keep earning more equity. So I have never understood what is it, or maybe someone else try to explain to me why somebody would think that renting in the long term is better than owning a home. Man, plus also, when you get to own your own home, It's the privacy of your own space. Privacy of your own space. You're not having to deal with, neighbors downstairs, upstairs, calling the police because you're too loud, you're up too late, and just, because, man, what I would advise people coming here is in the beginning, because obviously, wait until you're able to buy a house. Don't just buy a house just to buy a house. Just get your things in order. Make sure you have some savings. Buying a house, man, it comes with a lot of responsibility, but also it's like as soon as you make that decision to buy a house, it's not just how much this house is listed for and the mortgage you're going to be paying every month, but it's more than that. Because you buy a house and you move into a house and then you realize a gazillion things need to be fixed. And you did not plan for that money. You were living in an apartment and then you're moving to a bigger house. You'll need more furniture. You'll need more things, new equipment. It's hard to move. You don't want to move into a new house with your old furniture. And so you'll get rid of the old furniture and buy new furniture because it's your new house. So just prepare yourselves. Is that mentally, but also financially. Closing costs, they cost. Closing costs, it can be a big chunk of change. You're talking about your deposit, your down payment. The down payment can be another thing. So for me, what I did is I put in a little bit of a bigger down payment, and my mortgage payments, it drove down my mortgage payments every month. So that's why I think I pay less mortgage than most people pay for their apartment rents. And also, I think we were fortunate enough to buy houses before the crazy market thing went. And then I was fortunate enough to take advantage of the low interest rates that we just had, is it 2019 or some? I don't know what year that was, that the interest rates came really, they fell. And from that, I was able to refinance and get a low interest rate, which was good. Low interest rate, even lesser mortgage, but I got a low interest, but I ended up taking a lower number of terms. When you're talking about buying a house in the US, it's a big task because that's a lot of money. Yeah. Nowadays, it's like, depending on where you live, somewhere like in Washington, sometimes even with $1 million, you don't have a very million US dollars. That house is not like the most spectacular house. You live in somewhere like Colorado and, a house that is like 700 is still not that. But then, yeah, you go to other states that, like Texas, and a $700,000 house is spectacular, But what I'm saying is that it just makes more financial sense to buy a house in the long run than to rent, because at least you'll have a space of your own. You'll have a place of your own. It'll be like, this is my place. This is not, when you rent, it's not your space. Somebody is giving you permission with a lease, and you've signed a lease complying with their terms and conditions. I mean, you buy a house, it's not your house, it's the bank's house, but you have the freedom. You have the freedom that you don't have in an apartment. I'm just saying, the idea that and a lot of it comes from maybe misinformation. A lot of it comes from misinformation. Someone is telling you, like, you spend all your years in the US renting, all that money is going down the drain. You'll never see that money. At least if you buy a house, you are earning some equity. You're earning some equity. It might not be, the housing market, the economy might crash and all that, but it's all just the same way you invest that money when you're in your apartment. The economy might also crash. I think it's a much better decision to invest in a house than it is in the long run to live in an apartment. Yeah. And well, yeah. I just wanted to say that because I think, yeah, this is it's just an impromptu video that I've just done, and hopefully I can, it makes sense to some people. Makes sense to some people. Yeah. I mean, obviously, owning a house, owning a home comes with added responsibilities, but it's also good. It kind of, it teaches you how to be responsible, taking care of your own things versus just waiting for someone to take care of your problems. When you own a home, it just, something that teaches you responsibility. It's like, okay, the grass needs to be cut. It just, things need to be fixed. And then you find a way. And sometimes you have to pay somebody else, but sometimes there is also YouTube University. YouTube University is good because it helps you come up with, but then you learn so many things. You learn to fix things, and some people have gone crazy with YouTube University. It just opens up a new hobby, and you just it's interesting. It's not, it doesn't have all the glamour owning a home, but I think it's good adulting. Good adulting to own a home versus just live in an apartment. I, maybe someone else has a different take. Maybe I have no idea what I'm talking about. Let me know. Let me know in the comment section. Do that. And then, yeah. Oh, one thing I always say, don't forget. If you pay less than 20% down payment, that means you'll have to pay PMI every month. PMI. And once you hit that 20%, like once you start paying your loan and you hit that 20%, a lot of the banks will not automatically get rid of your PMI. And you have to remember to write, and sometimes they say, write us a letter that you want us to get rid of the PMI, and they'll do that. Otherwise, you'll keep paying PMI for the rest of your loan time. Yeah, and it's always better to get, a lower term on your house, but then lower term means you're paying more every month, and some people are not able to afford that. And so I think that's the reason why most people go with 30 years for mortgage, and boom. Yeah. All right, man. Hopefully that will be helpful for somebody. But I would advise you, if you live in the U.S. and you've gotten to a point you're stable financially, buy a house. Buy a house rather than just renting and then building mansions back in Africa. But then you have two homes. You have a home here, and then you have that big bungalow in Africa sometime, someday. All right. Well, if you're new here, thank you so much for watching my video to the end. And thank you so much for, my premiere gang, all those people who, always show up to watch my video, like my video, comment on my videos. I really do appreciate. Really do appreciate. Yeah, man. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. Appreciate you all, and congratulations for all the DV 2025 winners. And for all those that were hit with that message of not being selected, don't worry. We'll keep at it. We'll keep at it. Keep at it. Keep educating you. And yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much, and stay blessed.